What's in a name? Everything. Our name can define how we see ourselves, how we see the world, and how the world sees us. In many ways, our name defines our identity and our very being. My name is Mohamed. What comes to mind when you hear the name Mohamed? Tolerance, love, peace, or bigotry, hatred, terrorism? Assalamu alaikum. Greetings of peace. I'm honored to stand before you and speak the name Mohammed. And while I'm no prophet, I do bear the name with much pride. But that wasn't always the case. My name was taken away from me when we arrived in Canada. We were told we'd fit in better with Western names. A new land, a new name, a new identity. I begrudgingly became Mike. But inside, I was still Mohammed, wasn't I? I struggled with two identities. To my community, I was Mohammed. To everyone else, I was Mike. Those two boys never became one. Mohammed had escaped war in Lebanon. Mike struggled to belong in small-town Ontario. A new language, a new culture, and new friends who had no idea Mohammed existed. At 22, I moved to Spain. I discovered an Islamic legacy that had awakened Europe from the Dark Ages. It awakened me. I could feel the history of my people calling out my name. Suddenly liberated, I shed any shame that I'd felt because of my Islamic identity, because of my name. When I returned to Canada, this journey of self-discovery took on a new meaning. The West was at war in the Middle East. The Gulf War sparked a fear of all things Muslim. Fears legitimized with 9/11. A vicious war was born, a war of names. Terrorists branded themselves with names. Al-Qaeda, Taliban, ISIS. They hijacked my name to kill and to endorse their own perverse interpretation of Islam. Wherever they went, destruction and bloodshed followed. They desecrated the message of Muhammad, the message of mercy, turning it into one of fear and death. Horrible crimes committed in the name of Islam don't represent me any more than they do 2 billion Muslims who share our planet. I am not guilty of their crimes, just as none of you are responsible for the offenses of others. But there is a backlash against Muslims. Today, we stand at dangerous crossroads. Bigotry, hatred, and terrorism dominate our mainstream vernacular. Muslims are demonized in the media with names like radicals and militants. It's them versus us. Punish a Muslim Day? It's enough to strike fear in the hearts of those already marginalized. But it's evolved well beyond sticks and stones. Words of hate breed actions of terror. The numbers speak for themselves. In 2017, anti-Muslim hate crimes in the US were up 91%. Women in hijab were being assaulted, mosques burned to the ground. In Germany, there were 950 attacks on Muslims. Over 500 incidents in Spain and almost 1,700 in London alone. My native Canada, the Trump effect has spawned a 600% increase in online hate. Many incidents go unreported, but others, like the Chapel Hill shooting, can be very tragic. Just last year, 6 Muslim men were the victims of a terrorist attack in a mosque in Quebec City. The media named it a mass shooting, a label that shrouds what it really was, a byproduct of Islamophobia. The bigotry is very real. I've lived it throughout my life. I've been a Canadian for over 40 years, yet living with my name isn't any easier. Travel's difficult, so are simple conversations. In my career, people don't always want to connect with someone named Mohammed. At 50, the insecurities of a small-town boy still urge me to hide behind a silent mask of shame. But I am neither silenced nor shamed. With the voice of truth, I awaken others to embrace tolerance, love, and peace. While we can't legislate goodness in people's hearts, I believe there is enough love to awaken human decency and to change hostile convictions. We can unite in shared values and a desire to raise our families in safe neighborhoods and schools. Change starts with us. We need to become more tolerant to the beliefs and customs of others, to gain greater awareness and respect for universal human rights and our fundamental freedoms, to change racist policies that condone and promote Islamophobia and wider racial injustice. If we rewrite the definition of inclusion, we can reform a culture of bigotry, hatred, and terrorism. Together, we can build bridges, not walls. But before we can truly say, love thy neighbor, we must first accept them. I ask you to see me not just as a Muslim, but as a fellow human being. We may come from many different backgrounds, but we form one nation, humankind. We are more than mere labels, language, religion, ethnicity. They're only a part of us. What matters is how we choose to lead our lives and what we leave behind. What will you leave behind? A legacy of good deeds? A life lived in tolerance, love, and peace? That is my choice. It is how I have reclaimed my identity. My name is Mohamed. Assalamu alaikum.